Welcome to the Via Stoica podcast. My name is Benny. I'm your host for today, and this is a Stoic quote episode. We're going to look at a quote by Epictetus from his Discourses. I'm using the Everyman edition that I use and take along with me as I travel and as I go anywhere. I love this translation, but there are many other great translations out there. The Penguin translation is wonderful as well, but this is one that I have and I like it. And I'm going to read chapter 10 from book 2, and he starts off with a very impactful sentence, and then I highlighted a little bit further down the episode, the discourse as well, just to add to it. And this one shows a real direct link of how Epictetus sees Socrates as his example, right? And why Stoic philosophy is really one in line with Socratic philosophy and the way of looking at life. So this one starts out, he starts this discourse right with this one. He says, examine who you are. And then a little bit further, he goes, for you are capable of understanding the divine governance of the universe and of reasoning on what follows from that. And that first part, right, examine who you are, that's crucial, right? That's what Socrates says as well. He says, the unexamined life is not worth living, or something to that extent. And he takes that, from when he went to the Oracle of Delphi, the Oracle of Apollo in Delphi, and there it was said, one of the maxims said, know thyself. And that was one of the triggers for Socrates, and the entire story, you can find it out as well, that one of his friends went up to the oracle and they said no one is smarter than Socrates or wiser than Socrates, and that led him to really investigate and to really see what was going on. But this is something that the Stoics, and especially Epictetus, took directly from Socrates, right? Examine who you are. That's one of our biggest tasks. And we are capable of understanding where we are, right? From the divine governance of the universe. And we have reason and logic, and we can really use that experience, all those inputs that we get, to figure out who we are. And that's one of our main tasks, right? We often are confused with what we have to do: leave a legacy, be successful, make a lot of money, be famous, or whatever, right? A lot of the times that's what we kind of put on ourselves as a task of life. But it's so much simpler. And it's so much more feasible for everyone to do, no matter what role you take on, right? No matter what job you have, no matter what social status you have. That really crucial responsibility that we all have is to understand who we are. And from then we can work out what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to do it, and what the best way to act is. But it comes from that foundational understanding of what makes us tick, what is our nature, how do we respond to things, to people, and from then build ourselves up. So there's no need to, when you are looking for purpose or meaning, there's no need to look at it beyond yourself. There's no need to attach too much value to these external things that we do, right? Because we do value or give each other a certain sense of validation based on the money that we make, right? Or the job that we hold. And we either look down or up to people. I've experienced this as well when I lived in Dubai, and I had conversations with people. When they asked me, like, what job do you do? And I said, I'm a teacher. They would look down at me and the conversation would pretty much be over. It's quite sad to see that, right? Because people judge you by the title, by the money that you make, and not by the person that you are. And that's something that we see in societies as well, where we put these labels on groups of people because that's the idea that we have, that that's how these people are. But if we look at the individual, if we look at everybody and let them, their behavior, their character, show us who they are, that's far better way to look at other people. But that's also something that we should start doing for ourselves. We should be able to understand our character, know what we're supposed to be doing, and then let our behavior and our actions show the rest of the world who we really are. And we are capable of doing that. We are capable of doing that by observing our reactions, right? Our impulsive reactions to the events that happen around us. Then we go into that sequence of events that the Stoics put out. We get an impression. You have this impulsive reaction. You pause. You think, why did I react to that, right? If you have the time in a moment. But if you don't, then you can say, okay, this happened. Let me take a step back. What really happened? What is my action? What am I required to do based on virtue, based on living in accordance with nature, right? Making that moral choice. That is something that depends on us. And our character will be shown to the rest of the world. And if we do the right thing, we will also pertain good character and soul and peace of mind, that eudaimonic state. But from all of that, we can learn so much about ourselves. That part that people tend to say that Stoicism is about neglecting or removing your emotions, that's really the crucial part where we get to know ourselves. Why is this triggering me? Why is this causing such an emotion? Why do I add so much value to this? What belief system have I been given to react in such a way? How can I change those beliefs? Are they right? Can I question my beliefs? And that's our real journey. It's not about leaving something behind as a legacy or something. No, we need to be able to understand who we are, examine ourselves, and we can do that by observing nature, by observing ourselves, by being the observant, by being curious, by asking questions, by really delving into it, and by examining who we are, as Epictetus says. And if we do that consistently, and if we do that in the right way, then we can see that by gaining that extra knowledge, by gaining these extra insights, we will be able to build ourselves. We will be able to create that life that no matter what happens around us, no matter what our status is, no matter our financial way of life, no matter what happens around us, we can still live a good life. And that is something that is available for all of us. It's not just because you are rich or because you have a certain job that you are living the good life. Maybe you aren't. And we shouldn't judge people for, having a certain way of life. We don't know what's going on, right? We need to withhold that judgment, especially on other people. And moreover, because a lot of the times we aren't even certain about ourselves, whether we are living the good life, how we are actually feeling, because we don't take the time to examine ourselves. And that's why it's foundational. That's why it's key. If you want to build that philosophy of life, if you want to build that good life, start there. If you're looking for a purpose, if you're looking for a meaning, first ask yourself, who am I? What am I doing with my life? How am I living? Why am I making certain decisions? That is vital. That is crucial. And that's why, again, in Book 2, Chapter 10, Epictetus starts with, examine who you are. And then a little bit down, he says, for you are capable of understanding the divine governance of the universe and of reasoning on what follows. You can understand the universe, how nature works, because you have a part of it. You are part of it. By understanding yourself, you will also understand the world around you. That's how it works. It's not easy, it's not difficult, but it is a journey worth starting, and we should start it today. So again, thank you for listening to the Stoic Quotes episode. You can check out all these quotes on viastoica.com. Just go to viastoica.com, Epictetus quotes, Seneca quotes, Marcus Aurelius quotes. You can find them all there. You can find many more of these quote episodes on the Via Stoica podcast or other regular episodes on Tuesday. And if you want some help with this, if you are looking for some guidance, please go to viastoica.com. You can sign up for a free consultation, 30 minutes free, speak with one of our coaches, and then we can discover how we can help you examine yourself based on this quote and based on Stoic philosophy in general. So, but for now, thank you very much. If you like these episodes, give it a thumbs up and all of that stuff. Leave a rating and leave a comment. We really want to know what you are thinking about, how you feel about this stuff, how you are trying to examine yourself. We really want to know more about your process. And if you have other questions that you want us to examine, let us know. We will dive right into it. But for now, thank you very much. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next one.